Hello super friends and welcome to DCTV Talk, and in today's episode we are going to be breaking down and going over the theory of who is the demon in Arrow Season 7. So if you are not caught up with Arrow Season 7, be aware that there are spoilers ahead, but if you are caught up with Season 7, you will know that in the prison scenes with Oliver, we have been learning and unveiling little details about this character who is within the prison known as the Demon. Now, this character has connections to Ricardo Diaz, and now Oliver is on the hunt for him in the prison, and specifically in Level 2, which is where Oliver is going for the next episode. But who is this character of the Demon? That's what I want to break down today. So I'm going to go through a few options as to who this possible character could be. Make sure you let me know who you think the demon is in the comment section down below. So my first choice is Stanley. Now Stanley is obviously the sort of little guy who Oliver's been palling around with since he's been in prison. Now I also want to say I actually don't think Stanley is the demon. However, I do think Stanley has got more to him than he's letting on, because there are a few moments that just sort of hint towards it that make me think, yeah, you've got something going on. Because I remember in episode 2 there was the scene where he's sort of asking people about Diaz, and he was sort of, you know, saying, oh, you know, I asked around and things like that. That sort of was the first hint. And especially in episode 3 there was a line when Oliver and Bronze Tiger are kind of in a confrontation. He says, you know, kind of subtly and almost like, you know, not looking at the camera, you know, first rule of prison, don't trust anybody, and nobody really replies to him. So it's kind of like this subtle hint, you know, this tiny little subtle hint in the dialogue that, you know, maybe Oliver shouldn't trust Stanley either. You know, he's saying don't trust anyone, so technically to Oliver he's saying don't trust me. So there are a few things that point towards Stanley having a bit more to him than what he's letting on. Do I think he's the demon? No, not necessarily. Could he be working for the demon? Maybe. Or could he be working for Diaz? Who knows? But I feel like this is going to set up a really awesome story for Stanley, and I definitely feel like he's not the little goody two-shoes that he presents himself to be. I feel like Stanley is that informant that's working for Ricardo Diaz, and specifically, he has actually got dirt on his family. So obviously he was talking about how, you know, he's got a family too and things like that. I feel like he's working for Diaz undercover in the prison in order to basically protect his family. He's kind of doing the same thing that Oliver's doing. I feel like that's what's going on here. So while Stanley may not be entirely innocent, I don't think he's the demon. I have seen a theory going around that it could be Talia al Ghul. Personally, I don't see this happening because this is an all-male prison. Slabside is completely all-male, unless there is just this one cell in Level 2 that's completely separate and separated from everything else, and that is where they store Talia al Ghul. Also, as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong here, so make sure you tell me in the comments if I'm wrong here, but I believe Talia's death has been unconfirmed. I don't think they've ever officially stated that Talia al Ghul is dead. I think a lot of us have assumed she died on the Lianya explosion in the Season 5 finale, but I don't think it's ever actually been confirmed. Same with Evelyn Sharp. I don't think they've ever actually confirmed that Evelyn died either. So, could it be Talia? Personally, I think it's unlikely, but I think there is another Al Ghul who is a much bigger candidate. Ra's al Ghul, who is of course the main villain of Arrow in Season 3, could be the demon. Now, when I first heard about this character, the demon, obviously the Al Ghuls kind of jumped out at me, because obviously the demon is the nickname for the Al Ghuls, and especially for Ra's al Ghul. You know, he's, you know, the demon's head and things like that, an heir to the demon. It's a phrase very much associated with the Al Ghuls and also with the League of Assassins. I thought potentially there could be a link there. Episode 5 is also entitled The Demon of this season, so that also had me hinting. I made a video a while back about Ra's al Ghul potentially returning to this show. Now, do I think it is Ra's al Ghul? I think it'd be really interesting if it was him. I think it'd be really nice to see Matt Nable again. I think it'd be really awesome to see Ra's al Ghul return. But obviously he did die. Now, given the fact that he is Ra's al Ghul doesn't necessarily take him out of the picture of death. You know, he could easily come back. You know, think about Malcolm Merlyn. He's died a few times and things like that. I feel like he can come back if he wants to. I just don't quite see how they'd explain it and how much room they'd have to fit in Ra's al Ghul. Because if they brought back Ra's al Ghul, that would be like a massive problem. Like, that would be like a huge thing they'd have to deal with. And if this demon character is more just going to be like a cameo, then I don't think you can cameo Ra's al Ghul. And I just mentioned him, but it could be Malcolm Merlyn. Obviously, Malcolm Merlyn was kind of the last Ra's al Ghul. I mean, obviously, Nyssa did take it over and then disband the League pretty much immediately. But the first, or the last sort of official Ra's al Ghul who did work for the League of Assassins was Malcolm Merlyn. Merlyn supposedly died in the Lianya explosion, but we never saw his corpse. So first rule of TV, if you don't see the corpse, they're not dead. And also, as I've previously said, Malcolm's died before. He can come back, and personally I feel like the show is not going to end without at least one more appearance from John Barrowman. I feel like he is 100% going to come back. Could he be in prison with Oliver? Who knows? I mean, I feel like, you know, if they found him, you know, if, like, you know, the law enforcement found Malcolm Merlyn on Lian Yu, I feel like there'd be some news about that. I feel like that would be, you know, kind of common knowledge that Malcolm Merlyn has been arrested. But, yeah, it's still a possibility. I just don't know if I necessarily see it. My final choice is something that's been going on for a little while, this theory that's been going around for a while before the season started, and that is that it could be Roy Harper. Now, obviously, Roy, we don't particularly know what's going on with him this season in the overall context of things. Obviously, we have got the flash forwards going on, which are extremely interesting with Roy in the future. But one thing I keep bringing up is that Colton Haynes, who plays Roy, is a series regular on this show. He's a series regular for this season, and if you're a series regular, that means you're going to be in all, or if not pretty much all, of the episodes in the season. We are not going to be getting these flash forwards every single episode. You know, we got one in episode 1, 2, but we didn't get one in 3. Will we get one in 4? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. I doubt it, to be honest. So, if he's not going to be in every single one of these flash forwards, like if these flash forwards are not going to appear in every single episode, he must have another role on this show somewhere. He must have another role within this season. So could he be in prison? Obviously there is the theory that he's the new Green Arrow. We'll have to wait and see what he does and how he kind of, you know, it does make an appearance, but it could be Roy, and this could link back to the theory that Roy is in prison with Oliver, which I think would be really interesting. It'd be a cool place to put him. It'd be something a bit different. Now, obviously, like I say, there are two likely places for Roy to show up in the main storyline, either in the prison or also as the new Green Arrow. Now, I don't think he's the new Green Arrow because I feel like that is Emiko Queen, who is obviously, I mean, I've done a video on that, you can check that out. But I personally feel like if he is going to show up in the main storyline, it'd be really interesting if it was him in prison and this is the demon that everybody was going on about. But what do you guys think about my theories? Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who do you think is the demon? Make sure you tell me. Personally, I can't put a nailed down prediction as to who the demon could be. Obviously, we do know that there is one more character in prison who we have not come across yet, who Oliver knows. They've confirmed this. They said there's one more character. We were getting Brick, Bronze Tiger, and Stardust, and there's one more who Oliver never thought he'd see again. So, you know, that does raise some suspicions that this demon character is going to be that missing character. Now, you know, given the phrasing, Oliver never thought he'd see again, I think that actually adds some weight to the Ra's al Ghul theory, because obviously if he killed Ra's al Ghul, he wouldn't expect to see him again because he's dead. So, could it be Ra's al Ghul? I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. It'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always, guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Arrow. And with all that said, guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.